More, let's cross our correspondent Theo Merz. He's standing by in the Russian capital. Theo, great to have you with us. It seems all around denials from Vladimir Putin.
Yes, and it's not surprising that he denied this. The surprising thing is that he addressed this investigation, that he addressed this allegation from Navalny at all, because what he's been doing for years is ignoring Navalny absolutely as much as possible, saying that he's not a political threat, he's not a credible politician, and even never mentioning his name in public. He goes to sometimes some quite comic lengths to avoid saying Navalny's name. During his end-of-year press conference last year, he referred to him as the patient in the Berlin clinic. In reference to his poisoning and being transferred to Germany to be treated there. So it is very unusual. It is very significant that Putin is now addressing these allegations, and it does suggest that the Kremlin might be rattled by what the opposition is doing, and it does suggest a slight change in approach for them.
Theo, speaking of the Kremlin being rattled, those extraordinary images coming out of Russia over the weekend, which turned extremely violent, where would you say the opposition movement stands now, as all eyes have turned to Russia?
Well, the opposition is certainly buoyed by what happened at the weekend, not just by the large numbers of people that came out, tens of thousands in Moscow, tens of thousands in St. Petersburg, many across the country, but also by the geography of these protests, that it wasn't just something happening in the big Western Russian cities. There were protests in Siberia, there were protests in the far east of Russia. So they're feeling positive about what's happened, and they just announced today that there are going to be further protests on Sunday. So they're really trying to keep this momentum going. So both sides, both the Kremlin and the opposition, slightly changing their tactics and both raising the stakes. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens at the weekend.
Very interesting indeed, Theo. And of course, you'll be keeping a very close eye on those developments for us.